Daf Yudam at base, the very first line on top. Ein she'ilo shalom. So we said in the base of Merchatz, in the inner room, there's no she'ilo shalom. You don't give shalom. The name of Hashem is shalom, so you don't give shalom in the base of Merchatz. Messiah leila Rav Hamnuna mishmei deula. Domar also la'adam shitin shalom el chaver in base of Merchatz. It's also to give shalom to somebody in the base of Merchatz. Mishum shenemar vayikra lo Hashem shalom. That Gideon called Hashem, he called him Hashem Shalom. Hashem, whose name is Shalom. So that's the name of the Rebbeinu Shalom. If that's the reason, it should be also it should be also the same Besakise Amenusa Neman, because l'chayr that's also the name of Hashem. Dirshu Hakel HaNeman. It says Hakel HaNeman. So that's also the name of Hashem. So it should also be also in the basic Yisa. Maybe you'll say that is true, that is so. No, it's mutter. There's no issue. For the Gemara, and there's a difference. Over there, it's not that that's the name of Hashem. Rather, that's an attribute of Hashem. It's describing Hashem's attribute. Is Hashem who is Neman, who is faithful. But Hashem Gufa Ikra Shalom. But here, when it means Hashem Shalom, means that's Hashem's name. Dirshu Vayikra Lo Hashem Shalom. He was called Shalom. He called him Shalom. So that is a name of Hashem, rather than just a description of Hashem, an attribute of Hashem. That is the name, and that's why to give Shalom in the base of Merchatz is also, but not to say Neman. For Ektosis, the Targum of Hashem Shalom, the Targum says it's the Dovid le Shalom. It's Hashem who makes Shalom, who gives Shalom. So the Chayra, it's also an attribute of Hashem. So why are we saying it's in the name of Hashem? So Tosfos answers, then it's the name of Hashem. Why was he given that name? Because he makes Shalom, because he gives Shalom. But therefore it was a name. Now if it was only an attribute, Tosfos says, then it would have said Hashem Shloimoi. But it says Hashem Shalom, that's his name. Why does he have that name? Because he is Hashem who makes Shalom. The Avid Shalom, but since he does, that's why he's called Shalom. But as opposed to Neman, which is not the name of Hashem, it's only an attribute, and that's why Shalom is also to give in the base of Merchatz, but not to say Neman. So another member that he said is if you give a present to your friend, you have to inform him. You have to tell him, Rashi says, if you're going to, or that if you did already, that you did. Because we find by Shabbos that Chazal, they were informed that they were given this matana, this precious matana of Shabbos, to inform them and to inform them that I am Hashem who makes you Kodesh, who makes you, I'm giving you Shabbos and I'm making you Kodesh. I have a very special matana in my treasure house. And its name is Shabbos. And I want to give it to Klal Yisrael. Go and inform them, tell them about this. That we see from here that if you're giving a present to a child, you have to inform the mother. So we have to inform them. So as Rashi and as the Rishonim speak out, that by informing the mother, by informing the parent or the person of the matana, that fosters ava v'reyus, closeness. You see how much you're machshav, they see how much you're machshav, them or their child, and that fosters ava shalom v'reyus. So therefore it's important to inform them. So how do you inform? You give something to the child, you give the pasta to the tinek. How do you now inform the mother? My avidle, what do? Amar Abaye shayfle mishcha you put oil, you rub them with oil, and you put a cosmetic around the eye. But nowadays we don't do that, because that was in that time was a maisa that they used to do for kishuv. So wouldn't do that. So what do you do alternatively? You put from some of the food that you're giving him, you put it around his face or his mouth, so that the parent doesn't think it's kishuv, and it's not kishuv. They'll just assume that the child was eating it, and in the course of eating it, some of the food got on his face. So you have to inform the person. Taisa says, however, this is talking about a matana of ava. So it encourages, fosters ava v'shalom v'reyos. But by tzedakah, opposite. By tzedakah, you do not inform the person. It's matam b'seisich v'af. It should be done secretly, privately. So, nice matan l'chaveret tzorach l'idea. Frek the Gemara ini v'amar Rav Chama bar Chanina. Nice matan l'chaver ain't tzorach l'idea. You do not have to inform if you're giving matana. Shenemar Moshe lo yoda kikaran or pana b'davritai. Moshe had Hadras Panim, his face was shiny, and Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know it, and he didn't know that his face was shiny. He had this present of Karan or Panav, and he didn't know, so he was not informed. So you see that he was given this present, he was not told that you don't have to inform the person. If it's something avida l'gluya, it's going to be revealed anyway, then you don't have to inform the person, because it's going to be apparent and it's going to be revealed and he'll know about it. But if it's something like giving a pas to the tinek, it's not going to be revealed unless you inform the parent. So therefore, tzorach by matona that will not be revealed on its own, tzorach lo idea. Frek the Gemara, what do you mean? The makor for tzorach lo idea is from Shabbos. Ladas ki Hashem mekadeshcha. Shabbos Dovid l'gluya. Shabbos is going to be, they're going to know about it. They're told about Shabbos. They're going to be informed. It's going to be revealed. So why? And over there you see ladas ki Hashem mekadeshcha. They were informed, nevertheless. More answers. Yes, the mitzvah of Shabbos, the azharas of Shabbos were going to be revealed, but the matan scharai was not going to be revealed on its own, and therefore the Rebbeinu Shalom made a special point, which Rashi says, Ba'al Peh, they were informed of the matan schar, of the great reward for Shabbos. Rav Chisda Havanakib the other Tati Matanta the Tur. He was holding the matanos of kahuna from the animals. This is royal chayim v'keva. Those are the parts of the animal that are to be given to the kohen. And Rashi and Tosfos have arichas over here that at that time it was noeg in chutz laaretz, and the mitzvah of giving this royal chayim v'keva, which it was not noeg today, but at that time they were still noeg in chutz laaretz to give it to a kohen. Rav Chisda was a kohen. Now, these matanos are mutorim for a zar. It does not have to be, it's not like truma, which can only be eaten by a kohen. These matanos can be eaten by non-kohen as well. So Omer, he said, anyone who tells me something in the name of Rav that I didn't know, which is a chiddush to me, I will give these matanos to them. So he told him this memra that we just said, that you have to inform the person of matana. So he gave them, Rav Chisda gave him the matanas. He says, it's so precious to you what Rav taught, this shmaitz is so precious to you. And he said, yes. That coincides and consistent with another memra of Rav who said, Milsal b'shayu yikira, for the person who's accustomed to wearing a certain coat, a certain garment, he's accustomed to it, it's very precious to him. So a person is familiar with, it has a special importance to him. So here also, you are a Talmud of Rav, and the shmaitzes of Rav are so precious to you. Amar Rav Hachi, did Rav say this memra? This is even more precious to me than the first thing you said. If I had another set of matanas, I would have given to you as well, because this is even more precious. Marshall speaks out that it was so precious because they spoke to him on a personal basis. He was a Talmud, and it reflected on the importance of Rav's memories to him and how special they were to him, so it spoke to him on a personal note as well. Another member that he said, he should not show favoritism to his children. He should not show one, treat him more differently than the other, and another one give him more benefits, or treat him in a more special way. Because the weight of 2 sloim of fine wool, that he gave to Yosef with the Kesainus Hapasim more than the other sons, and this kind of by Echav and his Galgadavar Yardim Mitzrayim. It was because of that, the jealousy arose, and they were down to, with our Avos, went down to Mitzrayim, and they had all of the suffering and bondage of Mitzrayim. So because of this little bit of favoritism, so to speak, this Mishkal Shnei Sloim Milos, so some Rishonim learned that it's lav davka because the Kesainus weighs more than that. It's somewhat of an exaggeration or euphemism. Others learned that no, they all had Kesainus, that it's just that Yosef's had special cuffs, and the additional amount of what his was weighed more. The addition was only Shnei Sloim Milos of fine wall, but only for a small little some extra wall. Because of that, and all this tragedy occurred, that the brothers got jealous, they sold Yosef, and they all went down to Mitzrayim. Frank says, what do you mean? We had the bris bein absorim that v'avon v'inu samar b'yishana, that it was ibn Nevuah, they were foretold that they would go down, they were inevitably going to go down to Mitzrayim. So why was it because of this? Why does Gemara attribute it to the jealousy to the brothers? They were destined to go down to Mitzrayim in any event. So Taisa says that perhaps had it not been for this event, there would have been Arba Meshana, but there wouldn't have been such a difficult bondage, slavery, and the suffering wouldn't have been so hard. As Lamaisa we see, the 400 years started with the birth of Yitzchak. And there wasn't slavery at that time. It wasn't that the entire 400 years were slavery. And even when they went down to Mitzrayim for the 210 years, it wasn't all slavery. So the difficult portion, the suffering, was increased because of this Maisa of the jealousy and the sale of Yosef. Another member, he said, a person should look for a city where it was built more recently. The older the city is, by a city of Avodah Zarah, etc., the more the Averis accumulate, the more it piles up, and the more likely there is to be a Puranas, to be a destruction. So a person should go and search after a city which is built more recently and has therefore less Averis that have accumulated. It is dwelt and established more recently and has therefore less Averis. Shenemar, where do we see this? Lot told the Malachim when they came to destroy Sdaim, he said, let's go to this city, Mitzar, it's Kreva, and let's escape, and I'll escape to that city and dwell there. My Kreva, what does it mean, Kreva? If it means Kreva, and it's here as it's Kreva, and it's close by, and it's a small city, so why did Lot have to, if that's the case, why did Lot have to tell them that? They saw it. They would say, they didn't have to inform them that. Ella, what did he mean to say by that? He meant to say it's Kreva, Kreva, since it was more recently built, it's not that old a city, it has less Averas, so it would be safer over there. It's the city that we can dwell there, I can dwell there safely, because it has less Averas. So a person similarly should look for a city that is more recently established, where the Averas are less, and less likely to have a piranhas of destruction. Omer Ravav in Micro, where do we see this in the Pasuk? Dirsiv imalta no shama. It says that imalta no, Loi said to the Malachim, let us escape over there, let us escape to this city. No is no, it means please no, but nun Allah, bigematria, nun v'chad havet. So the gematria was no. The gematria of Mitzvah was 51, so it was established for 51 years. V'shel Stoim, nun v'beis. And however, Stoim was a year older. It was established 52 years earlier. Rashi and Tosfos go into the Cheshbon, how we know that Stoim was 52 years, working through the lifetime and events of Avraham Avinu. And Stoim was 52, and Mitzvah was 51, so it was a safer place to escape to. Where it says, V'shalvasa chavav, and its time of peace was 26 years. It was established, its Stoim existed for 52 years. Half of it, 26 years, were peaceful. The other 26 years were not. Dirsiv, Shtei Mesrei Shana of this Karalaim. They served Karalaim for 12 years, so that was not peaceful. V'shleish Esrei Shana, Marado, they rebelled for 13 years, so that's 13 and 12, total 25, which there was no peace. And it says, Ubasar Shana, on the 14th year of the rebellion, then that's when the war took place. So it was a total of 26 years of shibud and war, and 26 years of peace, and it was destroyed after 52 years. The Mitzvah was 1 year earlier, and therefore it was a more desirable place, less averse, to escape to.